A major earthquake struck Southeast Asia on March 28, 2025, causing significant damage and loss of life in Myanmar and Thailand. The quake, registering a powerful 7.7 on the Richter scale, had its epicenter 17.2 kilometers from Mandalay, Myanmar's second-largest city. This placed the quake's origin at a relatively shallow depth of 10 kilometers, amplifying its destructive power at the surface. The initial quake was followed by a significant aftershock measuring 6.4 in magnitude, further compounding the damage and increasing the risk to survivors and rescue workers. The quake struck at 3:02 p.m. local time, catching many people off guard during their daily routines. The shaking was felt across the region, sending shockwaves through Myanmar and into neighboring Thailand. The suddenness and intensity of the tremor left little time for people to react, resulting in widespread panic and chaos. As of the latest reports, the earthquake has claimed the lives of at least 144 people in Myanmar and 8 in Thailand. Myanmar's state broadcaster, MRTV, reported 732 injuries in the country, painting a grim picture of the human toll. However, with rescue efforts still underway, these numbers are expected to rise. Eyewitnesses in Myanmar reported at least 3 fatalities due to the collapse of a mosque, highlighting the vulnerability of structures in the affected region. In Thailand, a construction site in Bangkok became a scene of tragedy when a 33-story high-rise building under construction collapsed, killing 7 workers. 90 people are still missing at the site, according to the Bangkok governor, raising fears of a significantly higher death toll. The situation remains fluid, and authorities are working tirelessly to locate survivors and provide medical assistance to those injured. The coming hours and days will be critical in determining the full extent of the human cost of this disaster. The earthquake has left a trail of destruction across Myanmar and Thailand, impacting critical infrastructure and displacing countless individuals. In Myanmar, the quake's effects were particularly devastating in Mandalay, where widespread building collapses were reported. Among the structures damaged were the Masoi Yane Monastery, a revered religious site, and portions of the former royal palace and government housing in Naypyidaw, the nation's capital. Transportation networks have been severely disrupted, with reports of cracked roads, a collapsed bridge, and damage to the critical highway connecting Mandalay and Yangon, Myanmar's largest city. Adding to the devastation, a dam burst in the aftermath of the quake, causing flooding in surrounding areas and further hindering rescue efforts. In Thailand, the most striking image of the destruction is the collapsed high-rise building in Bangkok. However, the damage extends beyond this single incident, with at least 169 reports of building damage across the Thai capital. The full extent of the structural damage in both countries is still being assessed, and the economic impact of the disaster is expected to be substantial. In the wake of the disaster, the governments of Myanmar and Thailand have mobilized resources and initiated emergency response measures. Myanmar's military junta declared a state of emergency in 6 regions most affected by the earthquake. This declaration grants the government broader authority to deploy resources and coordinate relief efforts. Demonstrating a rare openness to external assistance, the junta has invited international aid to support the recovery process. Myanmar's junta chief specifically mentioned permitting India and ASEAN nations to provide help, signaling a willingness to collaborate with the international community in this time of crisis. Meanwhile, in Thailand, authorities in Bangkok have declared the city a disaster area. This designation unlocks additional resources and allows for streamlined decision-making to expedite rescue and relief operations. Both governments are facing immense challenges in responding to the disaster and providing essential services to those affected. The international community has responded swiftly to the earthquake, pledging support and deploying resources to assist with the relief efforts. The United Nations, the United States, China, the European Union, and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have all expressed their condolences and pledged to provide assistance. China in particular has been quick to respond, deploying a 37-member disaster response team to Myanmar. The team, which arrived in the country, brings with them specialized equipment and expertise to aid in search and rescue operations, medical assistance, and the assessment of structural damage. The pledges of international aid provide a glimmer of hope in the face of this tragedy. The coordination of these efforts will be crucial in ensuring that aid reaches those in need as quickly and efficiently as possible. The earthquake's impact extends beyond the immediate devastation in Myanmar and Thailand. Power outages have been reported in Mandalay and Yangon, disrupting communication networks and hindering rescue efforts. Myanmar National Airlines has canceled flights following the disaster, further isolating the affected regions. Tremors from the earthquake were felt in neighboring countries, including Thailand, China's Yunnan province, and parts of India. While no significant damage has been reported in these areas, the tremors serve as a stark reminder of the region's vulnerability to seismic activity. The earthquake has also raised concerns about potential secondary disasters. The dam burst in Myanmar highlights the vulnerability of infrastructure to aftershocks and underscores the need for rapid damage assessment and disaster mitigation measures. As the dust settles and the full extent of the devastation becomes clearer, the long road to recovery begins. The United States Geological Survey, USGS, using its pager system, estimates that there is a significant chance of over 10,000 fatalities based on the earthquake's intensity and the population density of the affected areas. However, it is important to note that this is a preliminary estimate and does not account for potential deaths from secondary disasters or long-term health consequences. The coming weeks and months will be critical in providing shelter, food, clean water, and medical care to the hundreds of thousands of people affected by the earthquake. Rebuilding damaged infrastructure, restoring essential services, and addressing the economic impact of the disaster will require a sustained and coordinated effort from both national governments and the international community. The earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand serves as a tragic reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of disaster preparedness and response. As the affected communities begin the arduous task of rebuilding their lives, the world watches on with hope and a commitment to providing support during this difficult time.